Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Bama Stainer post-game show. Before we do anything at all, I'll remind everyone to hit the like and subscribe button. Go ahead, jump in that comment section. Let us know what you think. And if you're bold enough, jump in the chat section. We will pull you up on screen and call you out. But we're here to talk about Alabama versus Arkansas. I'm your host, Justin Riley, and with me, as always, on the post-game show is a living legend, Coach Smook. What's going on, brother? Roll Tide.
Man, I'm glad to be here once again. Roll Tide, my brother. As you know, the transition, we now live in Virginia. So got a little small setup, but we're going to make it work, man. We're going to make it work.
Hey, I like that. I like it that you're ready to go on a moment's notice. Hey, that's what being an Alabama guy does, man. Always ready.
Yes, sir. Always ready. Yes, sir.
Well, as you know, guys, 49-26 was the score. Alabama put up big numbers. We more than covered the spread. But the biggest thing of the entire weekend was Bryce Young. Can't avoid that. And if you're like me, you were in full panic mode yesterday when he went to the sideline and we had no idea what was going on. How severe was it? Would he be out a few games? Would he be out the rest of the season? What were we looking at? Well, turns out he's only going to be out like 2 to 4 weeks. So we're looking at after the Tennessee game, he'll be back. Well, for a moment there, Coach Smoot, my heart was dropped. I can't begin to explain the emotions that I was feeling at that moment. But I'm going to go ahead and let you tell us what you were thinking about at that moment.
Honestly, I was angry with Bryce, and the same thing we've been talking about with him since last year, man, when he took over and showed his ability to create space for opportunities, to extend plays. Stop jogging, son. Stop jogging. And that's literally what happened in that play. If he had went ahead and took what the edge was giving him, Bryce had 6-7 yard gain, and a clear path to run out of bounds. And I think that's one of those situations where even after Coach Saban makes sure he's all right, or, whoever is his immediate coach, they're telling him this is a moment where, that's what they should be telling him. This is a moment where you should be trying to just get what you can and get out of bounds or get down, because we can't risk you taking a hit. And I feel like sometimes he just gets too comfortable with being a slippery guy, and you're not going to be able to get away from all of them, and sometimes you can't brace yourself for the hit. So initially I was angry with him, but then of course the concern is just to make sure that the young man is all right. And I loved his energy on the sideline. I love the leadership that he showed. As Milroe came off the field, he didn't crowd the guy. He didn't go off and, act like he was, he didn't make it seem like he was the only guy that could help Milroe. Bryce was talking to defensive players. Bryce was talking to the O-line. Bryce was in the coach's ear trying to, I've been on the sideline when the starter quarterback has to come out, and can't go back in. Coach, you need to let him run this. You need to nah. Coach is a coach for a reason. You're a player. You're a team captain for a reason. Your job is to be a leader, and that's what he did. And even in his absence, you saw his effect on the team, and that's what a true leader does. So, best regards to Bryce. And like you said, 2 to 4 weeks. It could have been worse. I'm glad it wasn't a dislocation or anything like that, but it definitely could have been worse. I'm just glad it's not season ending. And I think Jalen Milroe will play a lot better going forward also. I think just being able to go through and get comfortable, I think he'll play a lot better going forward. And with Bryce's, mentorship, I think he'll calm down a lot more, because that's the only thing I saw with Milroe. He was just nervous. He was like a deer in the headlights. And like literally, that's all that I saw with him. He didn't play horrible. He played nervous. He played like it was his first time having to go in that type of situation. He showed his worst and still was able to be an impact, still was able to be a threat. And so we're going to get into all that later. But Bryce, I'm glad we're going to get him back, by Tennessee, because Tennessee looks good.
Oh gosh, I don't even want to think about that game right now. I'm focused right on Texas A&M, the game that we've had scheduled or circled on our schedule for several months now. But yeah, we will get into Jalen Milroe. But I'll be honest with you. You know, the stats might not have been glaring from a passing perspective, but what he showed us to be able to come into one of the worst situations you could ask and be able to perform at such a high level and such a high level of confidence. And that speaks volumes of him, and his faith is one of the main contributors to that. He's spoken a lot about that here recently. And, you know, to be able to come on the road into a hostile environment where everything is going crazy and to have that kind of calm, cool, and collectedness about you as a true freshman quarterback or sophomore,
Yeah.
and to guide the team to a victory when things were looking pretty bad at one point. I mean, we gave up a 28-0 lead. It was 28-25. And man, you know, we could have easily fallen apart and let go, but he stayed calm and he guided us to the finish that we know Alabama is capable of. What tremendous from a young guy who gets it. But that also ties into what Bryce Young provides as a leader. What incredible value. Yes, he is a tremendous athlete, Heisman Trophy winner, has all these accolades. Yeah, on the field, he is second to none. But what he did on that sideline speaks volumes as to not only his character, but his leadership.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about before how a Scott Cochran made a big difference on the sidelines when he was with us. This guy got us up fighting. He was in the face of every single position group there, making sure that they were ready to go. And, you know, I like to think that he had a lot to do with that surge that we put out late in the game, and we needed it the most. So
you saw early in the fourth quarter, he was walking up and down the sideline with the defensive players right before. I think Kendrick Blackshear got hurt right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, correct? Or was that at the end of the third?
Yeah.
So right after that, I saw him on the sideline, up and down the sideline. Make a play. Like you could read his lips. Make a freaking play. Make a play. Somebody make a play. And the defense came out and just were on fire again, minus Henry To'oTo'o. We'll get into that later also.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I love that energy from Bryce, man. It, like you said, that's more infectious than a negative attitude, because negative attitude, you'll have your positive guys trying to speak against it, and then you'll gradually see other negative guys join in. But when you have positivity from a leader, marquee, face of a team right now, that affects the team. You know, when they see this guy wants to come in, you know, but sits there and says, I can't help my team if I go in. So guess what? I'm in your ear. You're going to hear me as if I was on the field, you know, and that's big. That's big.
No doubt. But I want to go back to your original point about his running. There is a big difference between him and Jalen Milroe in terms of the running aspect. You know, Jalen Milroe, when he takes off, he fully commits, and he's going, you know, balls out, on fire, shooting out of a cannon. He don't care what's ahead. He's gonna pick up that first down, possibly more. I feel like there's this battle internally with Bryce when he has the green in front of him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's timidity, afraid of getting hurt, or what it is. But I feel like that, like you said, if he would just commit to the run when it's there, you know, he could avoid situations like what you said happened in the game, but also put the team in better position. No, I'm not saying that it needs to be reckless and just go find somebody and run through a herd of people and get destroyed. I'm saying take what's given to you, you know, get the extra 5 or 6 yards, jump out to the sideline, you know, end of play. We've picked up a gain, but, you know, glad he's all right. You know, glad he's going to be back and the most pivotal part of the season. But I would have liked to see him commit more and show a little more confidence in himself when he has the opportunity to take off a few more yards.
And that's what I think he still has yet to grow in, maximizing the smaller opportunities, because he's Bryce Young. He has to use that to his advantage also. Bryce Young, the Heisman quarterback, if a defensive end or outside linebacker or anybody gets a hit on me, a big hit on me, they're going to get recognition. They're going to get something. So guess what? Let me sprint my butt up the field towards the sideline and try to get on the sideline and tiptoe as many steps as I can. And then at the last, the last 2 steps, step out of bounds and get this guy ejected. That's
Right.
I don't think people realize that's what made what's the guy played at Pitt last year? I forget the quarterback's name. Pickett. I think he was Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
That's what made Kenny Pickett dangerous.
Yeah.
And yeah, you risk getting hurt when you commit to the run like that, but more often than none, it helps open up everything else for the offense. And when you have a elementary style offense that's being ran like Bill O'Brien calls, you want to take advantage of those opportunities. So
yeah, without a doubt. Now, next part of discussion, the guys in the chat are already ahead of me. And this is one of the most important things. The offensive line, one of the most heavily scrutinized position groups going into this season. And as each week has progressed, we hadn't been able to establish any kind of continuity or sense of stability. We've been playing musical chairs, and we just been trying to find, that solid group. Well, we stepped in the right direction yesterday. And I believe one of the key contributors to that is what MFR Jones brings up right here. Or actually, sorry.
Yeah, it's the one
Mr.
above.
Logan,
I knew,
sorry about that. But hey, thank you, MFR Jones. We appreciate you. But RMFT tied. We saw that Seth was better at center, especially in the run game. That changed everything. Seth McLaughlin, I've been saying it for a long time. He needs to be the starter. Last year, I bring up last year a lot. He comes in against Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Instant stability to the offensive line, instant fire. Everybody comes together. They're playing as a collective unit, a unit that's going to blow your tail off the ball. And we're playing back to the Bama standard. And then we go against Georgia, the SEC championship, dominated the front seven of Georgia, including one Jordan Davis. Carried it on through the rest of the postseason. So my question is, why were we not seeing him before now? Well, we insert him on one of the most pivotal games this year, the SEC gauntlet, the initiation. At Arkansas, Fayetteville, loud crowd. They're bringing in a front seven that boasts a record of only allowing 3.2 yards per carry. He said, hell no, we're going to get a whole lot more than that. And Coach Smoot, the offensive line's playing back to the Bama standard. Yeah, man, there were some moments where, we probably missed a few things, but 98, maybe 99% of the game, man, they were doing their thing.
Let me tell you something, Justin. The offensive line, and I'm gonna say, as a whole, as a group, they played together because they had a opportunity to finally get some rhythm. They were finally able to get into a push rhythm instead of the step back, drop my butt, kick in, trying to reach the edge so I don't get beat. Like, they were able to enforce their will instead of trying to hold a wall. They were creating a new level, and it takes reps to do that. You usually don't. If you have a good defensive line, which Arkansas does, a good front seven, you're not going to win, 7 times out of 10, you're not going to win on the first 2 to 3 run plays because they're fresh just like you, and they're playing reactive. So they're reacting to your first step. You have to, the object of offensive line is be able to react to their reaction and adjust and still be able to fill your, complete your assignment. And that's a hard thing to do. That's why I always say your offensive linemen have to be the smartest guys on the offense, and that's even above the quarterback, because the quarterback can call a protection and they send the extra blitz that was unseen. And you as an offensive lineman have to be able to reach, block, push, whatever you got to do to, make that adjustment. So it's one of those things where you saw Seth bring the energy. I saw a lot of plays where you could tell the play calling wasn't agreeable amongst the players. They're looking at each other like, why are we running this? Why are we? Yeah. You could tell across the offensive line, they would see the protection, or they would hear the play call or get the play call, and they'd be like, what in the world? Like, we literally just gained 7 yards or 4 yards on this first rush. Why can't we run it again? Literally in my gap where we just gained the first 4 yards. Let's test it again. And when they got the opportunity to do that, though, they maximized it, man. And
Oh, no
I mean,
doubt.
you have to get 15 to 20 carries, 20 to rush plays in order to see your run game be effective. And, it's very few times you get big plays, explosive plays early in the run game. It's very few times. Usually, if you do, it's a blown play. But the defense, especially in the SEC, usually adjust, and that's one of those things where you don't see the big breaks to carry number 16, carry number 19. That's what happened the other day, yesterday. So, big ups to the offensive line for their energy. They brought energy.
Oh, no doubt. I love what I saw from them. And if you look in that first half, they're pretty much doing what they wanted to against that front seven of Arkansas, who boasted a 3.2 yards per carry, right?
Mhm.
And the only time where I may have saw them regress, if you really want to call it that, was in that third quarter where everything was just kind of getting out of whack,
Yes,
and
yes,
our heads were spinning, some bad decisions, the special teams disasters, everything's falling apart. But then it's like they said, okay, we're Alabama. Let's push this reset button. Let's go back to doing
Mhm.
what we do. And then, other than that, that brief period of they look tremendous. And if
I
you want to, sorry,
go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
well, I was going to say, if you want to take a positive out of the Bryce's injury, I think it forced Bill O'Brien and this offensive line to do something that we've been waiting on for a long time. One, run the damn ball.
Run the ball.
Run the ball. Run it, run it, run it until you can't. And it also caused this offensive line that was already doing well to mature and get back to playing the to the level that we are used to, man. That high standard,
Yeah, yeah. That
that
that confidence
nastiness.
is up there now.
Yeah.
You can see it. That confidence. Anytime you post um 250+ yard rushes in a game, anytime you post 2+ rushing touchdowns in the game, anytime your offense scores 40+ in a game and your run game is the dominant, is the key contributor to that offensive explosion. Offensive line started to feel themselves and they start to push a
They
little
did.
harder. They start to reach a little bit stronger. They start to jab a little bit harder. They get a little bit more nasty. You see a lot more of those running backs getting held up. Let's pick them up and carry the whole pile. You see a lot of those. Like, that's what I saw in the third and fourth quarter. And even in that time, like you was talking about, things were unraveling. I didn't see many issues with the old line. A bad snap. Well, it wasn't even a bad snap. Jalen Milroe he, like I said, Milroe played nervous. He played nervous that
Right.
whole third quarter. He was
To be
this
expected.
guy, and I expected that, but I think, and I don't know if you're ready to jump to that, the offensive line played perfect. They actually helped him remain calm because it wasn't like he was getting sacked by 4 or 5 guys at the same time. It wasn't like he was just running for his life. Milroe just wasn't making reads at first. He was stiff arming the air, when he
Right,
broke out the
right,
scramble, like he was just nervous. Like, and the O line,
right.
I seen extended box downfield for the first time in I don't know how long when he broke for that long run. So yeah, O line, man, I'm excited about what they're gonna do. Because we're gonna see a lot more tests here in the next coming weeks.
Oh, no doubt. But I don't think that he was touched in the backfield. Was he sacked even one time? I think there was only one sack the entire
Yeah,
game, and that's when Drew Sanders sacked Bryce on that unfortunate play. For a team that coming in this game that had 20 sacks and was leading the nation in sacks, they were quiet, and that offensive line did their job. Man, they weren't a factor.
well, the announcer said it before the game. Arkansas had the defense looks good, but they haven't really played anybody to the talent level of Alabama, and that's usually the case when teams walk into a game against us. They haven't seen the talent level, so a lot of times, like I said a while ago, we win our games based off of just strictly talent.
Yeah,
uh, our guy's better than your guy. Especially with Bill O'Brien calling the offense.
no
Um,
kidding.
like our guy's just better than your guy most of the times. So this offense was able to showcase that when we ran the ball. The offensive line was able to showcase, hey, your defensive end, your defensive tackle, your edge rushing linebackers cannot beat our 5 guys up front, or when we bring a tight end, or when a extra running back goes out and block you, because Jason McClellan made some key blocks too. Like, I
He
don't
did.
think this guy, he may have not got the touches he deserves last game, but that
But,
running back room is committed to each other. That
man,
running
he was
back room is
effective
committed.
though. I mean, forget getting the sexy plays. I mean, it's about what you can
Make them.
do as an all around back.
Yes.
Do you create value for yourself in every area, not just touching the ball? And Jason McClellan does. I mean, I love his physical style of play. I love his
Hey,
no nonsense blue collar approach, and he will hit you in the mouth and
correct.
make you regret coming into his area.
And they I heard a outlet make a statement that I was making before the season started. I said, and I think somebody disagreed with me heavily in the chat, and I was like, Jace McClellan is the better running back. He's their better running back, hands down. But better player, better athlete, more versatile. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to give
Right.
you everything. He's going to be good at everything. You can't find anything. He got good speed, great speed. He's got great cutbacks. He got great hands. Is he the powerful runner you want for 3 downs? No, though. You don't want him for 3 downs. You want him fresh every time he touches the field. So when you have the O-line rolling like they did, the cutbacks are there, and he's the one that can hit them and break for him for real.
Oh yeah.
Jace can too. We know we have 2 backs. I think Jace just has a little bit more of the physicality edge than Jahmyr, and that's
Right.
not by a lot, because
He
Jahmyr
can
was
pop you.
he popped like 3 or 4 on the first round. When he got up and did the first down and was laughing, I said, "Oh, this boy feeling himself." I said, "He feeling himself," and that whole, like I said, the whole running back room is committed to each other. I love that about them. The whole room. Trey Sanders is such a great leader on that sideline. I don't know what he's talking about, but it doesn't look like casual talk to me. It looks like he's constantly encouraging, teaching, or being positive on the sideline. I don't see him moping around like Eli Ricks. I don't see him moping around
Exactly.
doing other stuff, acting like he's so thirsty. Like, this man is always ready to get in the game. He's always available on special teams. He's given 100% effort. And everywhere you see a running back on, each phase of the game, it's effective. Everywhere they're put, they're effective. They're committed to this team.
Love the selflessness, and that's the attitude you have to take if you want to be successful. Hey, MFR Jones hit a very important nail on the head here. I hope Seth stays in, a lot less penalties. That's a big factor too that we're not talking about. Our penalties were cut down tremendously, and the only time we had any offensive line based penalties, I really question the referees on that because they were picking on Javion
Cohen's
Cohen.
first call, that was
That
bull.
was
I mean,
beat.
when I say, and even when you have Arkansas players on the sideline, like, dang, they was like, dang, we can't play. Like, that's the looks that both sides of the ball. And Cohen, he had his hands on his hip. That was the funny part, but to see him go to the next play and demolish the same, like, really put it on the same guy,
I was
like that
questioning.
intensity, I love it.
I was questioning, was the referee just feeling sorry for the guy because is the call aggressive manhandling because there was no hold? He just Luke caged the guy down
I
to the
mean,
ground. There was no fight.
you
It
know
was
what
like
kind
he
of
took a
strength that
lifeless
takes?
body. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. Oh, I loved it, man.
And I don't know. I think the guy weighs like 270 or something like that. And he did like that,
Yeah,
265. I
yeah.
mean, just tossed him. That's scary strength. I don't know. You don't usually run up on people like that, And I see Tyler Booker is nasty. Tyler
Yes,
Booker
he
is
is.
nasty.
Yes.
And
So
Ekiyor
glad he's
plays
in that
strong
lineup.
too, man. Ekiyor played strong when he had to come in. Steen is coming along very good.
Slowly,
I think
gradually, yeah.
you could tell that he's more comfortable with his assignment, adjusting mid play and being aggressive. I still think he's being a little hesitant, being on the aggressive side, but I feel like he's getting a lot more comfortable. His head is moving a lot more fluently too when the pass blocking is in play. I do like that, but overall the offensive. I can't get enough of that offensive line with Seth in it. Like that eye missing piece from the day one. I don't know why, like you said, I don't know why he was never the starter. Dalcourt, you big, but you don't have the effort. You don't give the effort. Seth is just as strong to me. He's more effective, and he brings the energy and effort. So,
speaking of reaction on the sideline, I think
what's up, Jimmy?
what's going on, Jimmy Clay? I think the entire world heard what Coach Saban said when we were at the goal line, down the goal line, 2 yards to go. And what play does Bill O'Brien call? A pass play. What in the blue hell are we doing calling a pass play? You saw Coach Saban's reaction.
Yeah.
I believe the term was run the effing ball.
Yes. And everybody in the house that I was in watching the game, I swear, maybe every Alabama fan possibly said it within the same time frame. When that ball was snapped and we saw a drop, I yelled it. Why the ball? Like I was so pissed because the run game got us there. What are you doing?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I don't understand his train of thought. His logic illogic makes no sense.
He's going after this year, bro. Like I honestly believe that series of play calling, when the announcers pointed out that Saban tied his shoes, that's when the play calling changed after that moment. And I believe Saban put his hands back in the pot. Because I think he knows how important this season is as far as in retaining players, also getting people to buy into this process. Alabama hasn't been more than 3 years without a national championship, a 3-year span without a national championship under Nick Saban. You think he extended to go 8 to 10 more years, to go 5 years without a national championship, or 3 years? No, we have the top talent coming in every year, as it's always been. And it's only getting better. We have the transfer portal working in our effect. We've been the top recruiters in the transfer portal. You got guys buying in that aren't buying in anywhere else. Like Saban is not going to let this coach, Bill O'Brien of all people, ruin that. Ruin the possibility. I don't see that happening. And Bill O'Brien, I don't think he's going to be having much when in tight games. I don't think we're going to see Bill O'Brien plays. We won't see him anymore.
I hope not. It's funny. As soon as that happened, I'm getting texts from Bo Scarborough losing his ever-loving mind.
Wow.
Why the F are we blah, blah, blah. He was going off. He said, oh, I knew everybody heard what Coach Saban said on that TV. Yeah, we all heard it, but we can't afford any kind of boneheadedness, if that's a word, to come through at this point. This is critical right now. This is where Bill O'Brien has got to earn that multi-million-dollar paycheck, not only from us, but for the next stop. People need to realize if Bill O'Brien is so adamant about leaving, and we as Alabama fans are ready for him to go, we already got the U-Haul reserved.
Right.
Right now, two of them. Right now, if you look at it, everything he does from this point, it's his on the field interview.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches, not coaches, the athletic directors, the boosters, and all these other people, the powers that be, the collectives, they're all watching him right now. And right now, this is where he really needs to be creative, innovative. Your offensive coordinator who had this billing of being an offensive genius, innovative mind, right up there with a Lane Kiffin, right up there with a Steve Sarkisian. Okay, well, buddy, you've got Jalen Milroe right now for the next 2 or 3 weeks. What are you going to do with him? How are you going to call a game that's based around his skill set, his abilities? This is not the time to be predictable. This is not the time to call a basic or elementary offense, because these other coaches are going to be scheming against us. Man,
they're going to commit to the run. They're going to commit to the run. They know that's what Milroe wants to do. I think they're going to commit to zone defense, and because that's what being a quarterback, when it all said and done, you have to be able to pass the ball. And a quarterback that struggles with accuracy, I don't play man defense. I play zone. Zone. if he struggles with accuracy, I play with zone. And I don't think Milroe is going to struggle with as much as he did this game.
No,
Honestly,
not at
moving forward,
all.
I don't. I think the arm talent is going to show moving forward. I think the confidence is going to be there. For them to pull off like they did, the offensive line to support him like they did, the running backs, the complete plays, even wide receivers downfield blocking, man. Like
Oh yeah.
I was glad to see that. You know, even though they dropped a lot of passes, that's if I had to give Alabama that game one bad thing, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even point out the meltdown we had in the third quarter, or going into that meltdown. I would point out the drops by the wide receivers. You know, they didn't help us out early in the game. And it happened throughout the game in spots where we just need to catch. We don't need you to get upfield. We just need to catch, you know.
Right.
And so I think they're growing too, though. I see them reacting to zone defense a lot better. You know, work harder to get to on the extended plays, but definitely the reaction time is better. And I feel like the confidence was just getting there with Bryce, and then JoJo's back. We see the effect JoJo
Oh
has.
yeah. Yes. Well, first of all, I
Woo!
want to say I don't think anyone is questioning the arm ability of Jalen Milroe. He's obviously got a cannon. It's just kind of fine tuning it, until it's ready to kind of be unleashed.
Right.
So right now, just do the intermediate routes, the slants, do the screens, the small stuff. Let him work gradually up, and eventually it's going to be there. And if we can get these speedsters like an Isaiah Bond, he finally caught a pass.
Yes, Lord.
Kobe Prentice and JoJo Earl taking those short routes, those slants. There are not too many people who can have the ankle strength to keep up with those guys. I mean,
Aaron
Isaiah
Anderson's
Bond,
back next week too.
yes, and who knows when Tyler Harrell is going to be back. To be honest with you, we're not missing him right now.
We're not.
But I really liked what I saw from the offense when Bryce went down and it was time to rally behind Jalen. They took it personal, man. It's like they got pissed off. Like Ray Lewis always said, you got to be pissed off for greatness.
Right.
And that's exactly the energy we were getting from them. And man, I felt a whole lot more comfortable seeing the way they responded to that.
And I think the Texas game played into this game, because as a football thinker, that game was a lot closer than the score says. But we dominate. I mean, we handled business like we were supposed to. The score says we blew them out. I say we won a hard fought game, because Arkansas is not a pushover. They will run. I feel like Arkansas will be able to run through Ole Miss. They'll be able to run through. I think Arkansas could compete the way Georgia played this past weekend.
Oh, no kidding.
If Arkansas would have caught Georgia yesterday, Arkansas beats Georgia. Arkansas beats Georgia yesterday. Georgia could not. Their defense would not have been able to handle a strong running quarterback yesterday. And then their offense, I don't know what Steady was on, but like Alabama has shown that we are battle tested and battle ready. As much as the sloppy plays, penalties, everything, you could just see that it didn't phase us this game. Or even with the mistakes, guys were not hanging their heads on mistakes. It was like, dang, next play. And I love that. I could deal with a team that makes 7 mistakes but comes back with 9, 10 positives.
No doubt.
It outweighs the negatives, and you usually end up, especially in a game where you're executing and it's the small stuff, but you're executing and the small stuff is hurting you. You usually end up on the better end, and that's a testament of the process, trusting the process. So.
Man, I love their attitude, man. Like you said, no hanging of heads. It's basically, all right, to the line. Next play. Intensity, man. And that's what we've been missing on the road. Used to in the past, Alabama, we actually played better on the road, believe it or not, than we did at home.
Yeah.
Here recently, it's been the exact opposite. Now we go on the road in a crazy environment. And, when things are going wrong like that, you kind of expect that Alabama to show up like I was just talking about. No, the old Alabama came back, and these guys had a point to prove. But I want to turn it over to the defensive side of the ball. A lot to talk about. One of the things a couple of things I was looking at going in, where would Jordan Battle and Byron Young be, health-wise if they were able to play? I was looking at that. First of all, Byron Young didn't look like he was even hurt the previous week. That front seven, that defensive line, minus Justin Aboybe, he didn't make the trip. He was sick.
Yeah.
Man, they were raising hell, led by
I
Jaheim Otis. Jaheim manhandled everyone, ate KJ Jefferson up. I think that's why we didn't see him again late in the game.
Yeah.
But my gosh, the young man understands the assignment. He's got it. And I'm going to bring up another young man, Deontay Lawson. Ooh.
Please.
God.
And I don't mean to cut you off, Justin.
No, go ahead.
If you don't clip anything else this week, clip this.
Please go right ahead.
Pete.
We're 35, 55. All right, got it.
Pete. If you don't sit toe-to-toe and start Lawson and Moody and give those boys those snaps, I'm going to put you in the U-Haul. That's why I said 2 U-Hauls for Bill O'Brien. Because we not even going to let you drive the U-Haul. We see that you can't see the obvious. You can't see that your 2 best inside linebackers are Jalen Moody and Deontay Lawson. They are the most effective for you. Moody doesn't get I feel like Moody gets thrown in the most inopportune times where there's an overload to his side and he has to fight off 2 or 3 blocks to get inside, or he gets thrown in a max protection pass play where he's the 5th man to blitz and there's 7 guys protecting, or there's a 6-man protection. Like I feel like he gets in those situations, but still becomes effective because he has to be accounted for. I don't have to count for Henry To'oTo'o. If you recall, there was a play where KJ Jefferson was in the backfield. He had 5 wide. They were on the goal line or in the red zone. Dallas Turner made the tackle. To'oTo'o was in on the tackle. If Dallas Turner did not slip that block to wrap KJ Jefferson up, To'oTo'o was missing that tackle. He had already begun to flail. He'd already begun to do his little flop, his fake tackle move before KJ Jefferson. And it is so sad. The moment he saw that Jefferson was wrapped up and going down, now he wants to act like he wants to put a hit on him. And then turns around.
Yeah.
And then turns around and gets the stupid late hit call on the 4th down.
That pissed me smooth off. That pissed me off, Coach.
Kirby wouldn't have took that. Jeremy Pruitt wouldn't have took that. I don't even think what's the other guy that just left before Golden took over?
Tosh Lapointe.
To Lapointe was big on discipline. I don't think if To'oTo'o would have started, I don't think To'oTo'o would have started after the Texas game, honestly, under Kirby and Pruitt for sure. I don't think, and they were all about physicality. You got guys like Lawson and Moody, Blackshear that's ready to put his head in the hole. I'm not skipping those guys reps for To'oTo'o because he's fast and smart. We got a running team that wants to run straight up in our face, run up the gut. We need you to put your hat in there, To'oTo'o. Not once did he do it in the Arkansas game. He made a good tackle one time, but it was a wrap-up tackle. He didn't pop the guy. He had a kill shot. But you're going to get a penalty on 4th down when we get the defense off the field. I mean, the offense off the field. And still go out there and get beat on when you got to go back. Like, this guy, he's not him. Like I said, I gave him his props last week. He played a strong game. One game, like me and you said, one game. I didn't jump on the To'oTo'o is there yet because we haven't seen it consistently. And once again, he proved us right. He's not him. He's not the Alabama linebacker that we need or used to having.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And folks, that's exactly what Marvin's talking about, and a lot of us are talking about. It goes beyond the stats that you see. Those people who are stat people. Yes, last year he had 113 tackles. I think broke some Alabama records, and I think led the SEC. But it goes beyond that. It's those things that Coach Smoot just talked about right there. And one thing you mentioned about those previous coaches, they wouldn't have put up with it. But there's another aspect too. The teams under those coaches wouldn't have put up with it. because they were policing each other.
Yes.
And if their teammates weren't acting right, they handled business. Matter of fact, there was one time where someone wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, Tony Brown, and it pissed his teammates off in the playoffs or the national championship game, put
Yeah.
his tail on the bus and sent him home.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that
Yes.
against Clemson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
yeah, Toa, if he's doing that again with those guys, well, he would have been gone. And if you're a middle linebacker, I want to see a pit bull. I want that yard dog to come out.
something.
Mike McCoy said it best last night. When he tackles you with grace.
Grace. He loves to hug. He's a hugger. He's a hugger. He wants to show everybody that everybody can be successful. Everybody can be on this field and have fun. No, we are here to dominate. We are here to put fear in people's heart. When I say it's scary when you have a linebacker one-on-one with a quarterback, and no matter how it's blocked, it's funny because I think Arkansas scheme, hoping that their 5 can handle our front 4 and leave KJ one-on-one with Toa. Because I think any quarterback right now in the league, one-on-one with Toa in open field, if it ain't some scrawny quarterback, he's not trying to tackle them. He's trying to wrap up. He's trying to shoestring tackle. He's trying to hug, reaching, and that's not what we can't afford that. Because if I'm at Texas A&M and my quarterbacks are struggling, we're going to lean on our run game and we're going to run up the middle at Toa. We're going to triple team Jaheim Otis. We're going to hope our guys can kick the edge guys out. We're going to bring a tight end in. I'm gonna bring 2 running backs in so we can handle the 2 extra rushes, and we're gonna try to get our running back or our quarterback one-on-one with Toa every time. I don't care if we run the same play 17 times because we know Pete's not gonna walk an extra guy down. You know,
and to your point, that actually was happening there in the third quarter. They were literally running the same 2 plays over and over and over
directly
again,
at him,
and picking up 5 to 7 yards a pop, sometimes 12 yards. So yeah, they knew the formula, but then we were able to adjust. But there was one touchdown by Rocket Sanders and Pete Golding. What were you thinking there, man? Why did you call that defense? I mean, help me understand, Coach Smoot, because Rocket Sanders just had nothing but open field. He could probably just walked, tiptoed to the end zone, probably untouched because of that defense that was called.
I honestly believe that this nickel set that we're in, we're too dependent on it. I think we need to give our athletic linebackers more opportunities to cover in smaller spaces, the red zone. Stop putting them in bad positions in positive field position. Put them in those cover, give them opportunities to cover in the red zone because they have it's smaller spaces to work with. They don't have to cover as much space. You can be a little bit more physical because it's more condensed. Wide receivers have to adjust their routes a lot more in the red zone. Like, let's bring the 3-4 back. Let's bring the 4-3 back. Let's make the DBs on the outside, those corners on the outside cover. Let's let the strong safety walk down to if they have a slot or the tight end, and let's bracket the tight end. Let's bracket the slot. With the strong safety, with the safeties and the outside linebackers if they go out into a pass play. But we have to learn how to play around responsibility in their red zone with physicality, and it's hard to do that in a nickel set when you got 4 or 5 DBs on the field trying to take on a tight end, an extra tight end block, or an extra old lineman, or a running back, a fullback coming out the backfield saying you want to, hold the line. It's hard to do. So that's an adjustment I would like to see. But I think our front handled it as probably as good as you're going to see in the league.
Oh, no doubt. Yes, Jimmy Clay Moody is playing lights out. That is one thing that we're going to say week after week. The man's on fire. Got to jump to the secondary. Terrion Honorable.
That's the man.
He's the man. Hey, and props to Kool-Aid Kool-Aid is getting a better week after week. I think it may correlate to the success he's having on special teams.
On
He's
special
getting that
teams. That's what I
confidence.
said.
He's getting
He's
that
getting that
confidence,
energy.
that
Yes.
swagger is coming. That true Kool-Aid that we
Yes.
knew about when we were recruiting is starting to manifest. And
it's
yeah,
not
he had that
cocky anymore.
No, he's confident.
Yeah.
He
He's
knows
not cocky anymore.
he knows that he's in control of his area. And you know what? That PI call he got, that he's just playing ball. That's nothing to be concerned about. But I've been really impressed with his play here as of late. Terrion Arnold goes without saying. The man is going to be a stud when it's all said and done as far as his career at Bama. But man, love how these two young men are stepping up in our secondary.
Those two guys, and then you got Caleb Downs coming in next year.
Woo!
That Caleb Downs is going to be a day one starter. Whether he plays the strong or the free safety, he's going to be. I feel like he can come in and play that nickel corner position. Honestly, if we get Brian Branch and Malachi Moore back for another year, if we don't see Christian Story get his chance at the safety, I think we run Branch and Moore at strong and free, and let Caleb Downs come or let Branch stay at your nickel. And Downs and Moore have to be your safeties. You know, that those three guys right there, similar builds, similar aspects. Caleb Downs, I believe, is going to be that Malachi Moore freshman. You know, that freshman year Malachi Moore had where he came in and was just keyed in.
Yeah.
I feel like Caleb Downs is going to be that guy for the defense next year.
I love how you brought up Malachi Moore because he was dialed in yesterday. There's a lot of things that he may not get a whole lot of praise for, like in terms of a highlight reel. But if you look at the small things he did to stop drives, stop plays from happening, there are a couple of times I batted ball that had it connected. It may have been a little crazy for us, man. But he balled out. Loved his intensity yesterday. I got to bring up DJ Dale for a second week in a row. He was it. I love what I'm seeing from now. I love that a guy who's been heavily criticized and challenged every week up until this point is taking that seriously and taking the fact that, hey, I'm a senior now. It's time for me to not only make a name for myself, but to lead these young bucks behind me and show them what they need to be. He's doing it right now. I really like what I'm seeing from DJ Dale.
I think that plays into the simple fact that he's used to being healthy again. I think that's what that is. And I don't think he's holding back on plays anymore. I think he's going out there giving max effort because he's not worried about an injury. You know, whatever he dealt with, I think the same thing happened with Trey Sanders when he first came back. You know, I believe if Trey Sanders wasn't forced into the role he was last year, I feel like he would still be struggling to show that he's back. But he kind of got forced into a situation where he either fold or continue to get better and say, okay, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable here and there. And we see DJ Dale doing that. One play in particular, Dale jammed up the center and shed the center. Guard came, and when he jammed the guard up, he jammed the whole run play up. And everybody was able to flood in and stuff it up. And I think right before that play, you could see the camera was in his face and he was shaking his head like, nah, this ain't happening, bro. This ain't happening. And he went off. And when Otis came back on the field, same thing. And that's what you need. I wish we could see more Burrows. I feel like Burrows can be
I'm glad you said that.
It's a deep rotation, but I feel like he can give us 3 or 4 snaps a game where, you know, especially in goal line, you know, put him out there. Please give him if it's second and goal from the 2, you need Burrows, Otis, and Dale out there some type of way. Tim Smith, the boy, be on the edges. Put your speed rushers outside that can cover. You know, they can still help you with the run. I mean, personnel don't have to be personnel every time. You know, personnel can be, let me put my best athletes out there that can clog up space or that can
absolutely
push an O lineman back. Let's do that. And we don't see a lot of that with this team this year. Luckily we are talented, you know, and that we still have a coach Saban. But I remember Kirby using defensive linemen on the offense. You know, I remember wide receivers playing free safety. You know, like I remember those type of personnel groupings. for special situations. And with a guy like KJ Jefferson, you need a specially packaged for in the red zone. And I wish we could see that. But defense played good. I think they're getting it. Minus Toa. I think everybody's getting it.
No.
And I'm gonna get off of Toa. Toa is smart. He's very smart. He's always. I feel like he's generally in the right spot every time. It's just he can't finish. He can't create energy. He doesn't in those big games. Yeah, he do it against UL Monroe. He did it against Vandy. But in those big games, he didn't do nothing against Texas. He didn't do nothing against Georgia last year. Either game. The games we beat the game we beat Georgia, he wasn't a factor in that game. The Auburn game, he wasn't a factor. All the big games last year. A&M game last year, he was the major reason they were breaking the runs like they were. It's like, Coach, what do you see in this guy? Other than he's a good communicator, he's smart, and he's fast. It's more to football than that.
I agree with that. You can be a great communicator and smart, but that makes you a great on PlayStation, but doesn't necessarily translate
might
to on
be
the
a
field.
help desk analyst or something. Like he might be. He need to be a help analyst.
There's a hashtag going, guys.
HDA, Toa, baby. But like I said, I think there's something that he does, that the coaches just can't shake, or there's something that Lawson is missing that we can't see.
Right.
I see the physicality, I see the fire, I see the hitting. That's what I think a middle linebacker for Alabama is supposed to do. I haven't seen Lawson in coverage yet, so until he gets burnt, you got to convince me otherwise that he can't cover. That he can't cover better than Toa. You got to give a guy a chance, and he's clearly more talented. He's younger, but he's more talented. He's ready. And somebody else said it in the comments earlier. He looks like a 32 from the past.
Yes, he does. Eerily similar.
And we ain't talking about Mosley.
Woo. Bama fan 1964. Milroe reminds him of Blake Sims. I think, he reminds me of Blake Sims, but bigger, faster, and stronger.
With a better arm.
Better arm. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me some Blake.
Blake Sims had an arm.
Yes, he did.
You could tell that was a running back. You could tell that was a running back. That he was a running back. Blake Sims.
He's an athlete. Gifted athlete. Could do anything you ask him to.
Didn't he go to DB at one point too? Like he was playing corner at one point.
He played about 10 positions.
Everything but O-line and D-line.
Right, until Lane Kiffin came in and said, "No, give him to me. I got this." And man, what a tremendous marriage there. My gosh. Yes. Speaking of Blake, man, hey, A&M this week. Remember what Blake did against A&M? Sick moves, bro. I got this stuff forever burned in my mind. But before we go to our players of the game and kind of wind things down, Coach, we got A&M this week. Like I said, it's a game that we've had circled on our calendars for months since that little tirade on the internet. I want you to deliver a message as if you were in the locker room with these guys for this week and for this game. What do you say for the guys, especially after what's happened? Milroe's in, things are changed just a little bit. What do you say to our guys?
The mission hasn't changed. Simple as that. I'm a realist coach. I'm like Saban. I can't. If you're not bought in emotionally on your own to see how much this can be a pivotal point, I don't care how horrible A&M has looked the past 2 weeks. We know A&M is going to come with their best game. The mission hasn't changed. They have disrespected us since last year. They have made it known that they want us, that they are still better than us. That they were the better team that night. That's what they've been saying. We've seen that. Y'all pay attention to that stuff. Act like y'all don't. Y'all see the posts. Y'all see the tweets. Y'all see everything. You can see it and you can use it for positivity. I'm telling my guys, look, the mission hasn't changed. We're going out there. We're going to play Bama football. They're in our house this year, right? We got them at home.
Right.
Milroe, play your game. Play your game. If it's not there, use your legs, son. You're better when you can make them respect your legs. Because now, guess what they're doing? When you make them respect your legs, they're hesitant on their blitzes. They're sitting back, and that gives you that extra 2 seconds to make your read. So just the mission has not changed. The plan has not changed. The objective hasn't changed. We're going out here to dominate. I don't care if that domination can be a 18-12 win or a 6-2 win. Domination is handling our business at the highest level we can do it, and coming out with the W.
Love it. Love it. All right, now this is one of my favorite times in the show. I'm going to do it. You're going to do it, Coach Smoke. I want you to pick some players of the game, 2 from each side of the ball. Start out with defense.
All right, defense. I'm going to give it up to my guy Will Anderson, number 1. Will Anderson has not allowed the fact that he can't be the playmaker every play to deter him from being the effort man. Because every time it shows. When you think Will Anderson is quiet, he makes a big play. So Will Anderson and then Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
That guy, I didn't give it to him last week because he didn't get tested much. You know, the few times he did get tested, he was on point. But this week, once again, and it wasn't even with the pass defense. It was on run support for me. The ability to keep the run inside and not allow it to the edge. So Terrion Arnold and Will Anderson. On the offensive side, I'm going to give it to Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm going to give it to Seth McLaughlin. And I don't think that needs an explanation. Seth McLaughlin he might have not had 20 pancakes. He might have had a bad snap, but Seth McLaughlin was the missing piece to the offensive line. And it's obvious. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, just his coming out party. The guy's everything that they said he was going to be. He's everything that he said he would be for the team. And he's not one of those guys that I'm here for a year. I'm gonna do my thing to get my draft stock up. He's bought into Bama football, man. The kid loves Bama football. And to think that we never recruited this guy, you know, it's kind of funny. Like, how did we miss? We get everybody else but him.
That's how right there is that we are always, in line for the top recruits at every position group. It's easy to skim over a guy like a Jahmyr Gibbs. Hell, recently, look at Quinshon Judkins over at Ole Miss, right at Alabama's backyard, and he's showing out.
Never, and that's the thing. You never know most of these guys, and then they get to the second level right after a developmental period, and it's like they skip levels. And I feel like Gibbs is just that guy, man. So those are my MVPs, man.
I love that. I love what you said. We may have some similarities and some differences in my picks. Defensively, second week in a row, going with Jaheim Otis, freshman, playing like a senior, playing like he's going to be scouted by the NFL and being that NFL draft.
He's going to be ready for the draft next week. Yeah,
he is. Just playing heads and tails above. Draft. Man, just absolutely dominant, and he's one of the key cogs in that Great Wall of Hell right now.
Yes, sir.
I already mentioned his name earlier, Deontay Lawson. He needs to be on the field more, but when he's on that field, he's effective. He's doing his thing. Offensively, gonna steal it from you, Seth McLaughlin. He's been my guy, been riding for a long time, been singing his praises. I can be his campaign manager if he runs for public office.
Right.
Change the entire face of the game. Completely changed everything. If he's not in yesterday, I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like we had the same success. I don't. But
DJ Dale is a great spot player, man. I told y'all this. Like, DJ Dale can play in spurts and be way more effective, and just, I mean, it's crazy. Like, oh man.
Yeah. Offensive, like I said, Seth McLaughlin. He was the reason for our success yesterday. And gotta go with Jalen Milroe. Did he have the amazing stats? No. He had that long run. I think he ran for over 100 yards. I mean, he was a huge contributor in our 317 total rushing yards. Love it.
Yes,
the old school of me was jumping for joy yesterday.
Yes. And I'm a wide receiver coach, but I know it takes the run game to make the pass game work. So I was happy.
But for him to go in there in one of the worst possible situations and to lead us to victory, and at one of the most pivotal moments of the game, 3rd and 15, we are flailing. Close game. takes that thing almost yard and is out at the 2-yard line. That's MVP right there. MVP status right there, folks.
Yeah.
That's why I believe in Jalen Milroe. So yeah, he's got my player, my one of my MVPs of these games.
I love that.
But yeah, it's time for us to wind down. But before we get out of here, I'm gonna give the floor to you, Coach Smoot. Go ahead, pop yourself. Tell folks how they can find you on social media. Tell them about your shows, what you got going on, and what they can expect from you in the TDA chat this week.
Yeah, this week is gonna be hot and heavy because it's A&M week. So be looking out for me in the TDA chat. I love supporting TDA. I love supporting Justin. I love supporting these guys. And anything I could do to help create energy and bring exposure to this channel, to these guys, I'm going to do it. I love what they're doing, man. But on my end, like I said, we just touched down in Virginia yesterday, literally probably like an hour and a half before kickoff. And we were able to get in, put stuff down. And then I had to take my dog over to my uncle's and we watched it there. So I'm taking these next 2 weeks off from, coaches, fan coach with Coach Smoot. But I do have content that I will be putting out. And there will be things I'll be putting out on my Facebook page. You can find me on all social medias at Coach Smoot. You're going to see a lot more of just reactions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my channel is going to be based around until we get the full podcast set up. So, like I said, Justin, I appreciate these opportunities, man, because I'm learning so much working with you, man. I love it.
I'm enjoying it. And listen, folks, this is going to be a regular thing every Saturday. Just be looking out for Coach Smook and myself for a post-game show. I do have the post-game show on TDA, but after that's over is when Coach Smook and I sit down to do our thing after we've had time to remove the emotions from everything.
Right.
And sit down and just kind of break things down piece by piece. We're able to think a little bit more clearer and provide y'all with better perspective. But I do want to tell everyone what's coming up for the Bama Standard. If you're new to this channel or new to what we're doing, our main show is on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel on Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, every week. And got an all-star panel, Bama legends, Bo Scarborough, Marvin Constant, comedy legend Steve Brown, senior analyst at Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen Smith, and I get to run the show. It's pretty awesome. We're 90% nonsense. If you've never seen the show, I'm going to give a disclaimer right now. We're not politically correct. We're not here. Get your seatbelts on. If your feelings get easily hurt, I'm going to tell you this isn't a show for you because we're going to come at you and we're going to tell you exactly how we feel. And one thing for you Bama purists, we got Legends on every single week. Great stories, things you've never been told before, just guys in the locker room having a good time. We got 2 shows this week, guys, because we have a special show this Wednesday night. But before I get to that Wednesday night show, Tuesday night, we're going to be recapping this game and talking about Texas A&M. But we got an old school hard hitter. We'll hit you in the mouth. All pro coming on. That's LaRon McClain this Tuesday night.
Whoa.
Folks. Yes, sir. Excited to have him.
Ready for that.
All right, now hang on to your seats. Wednesday night, special 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to sit down with a gentleman that we talked about here on this show. And that's none other than Jace McClellan. He will be joining. Not playing. I got the confirmation from Mama. What I did is I got Mama to support us first and made her happy and told her, hey, we're all about him. We're talking about him every week on the show. Matter of fact, we had a segment last week. I don't know if you're able to catch it, Coach Smoot, where Bo was adamant about getting that man more touches. Yeah,
I was in there.
Yeah, well, we got that out, and his mother saw it, loved it. She got a hold of Jace. Jace is all about it. So this Wednesday night, right now we have it scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Central. Jace McClellan will be with us. And to make things even more exciting, Trent Richardson is going to be a co-host that night. So y'all definitely want to tune in. That's going to be on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. And for here, y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to have a lot of great clips coming your way. Recruiting still going on, so there's going to be
Yes.
updates on that constantly. Some of these recruits are sneaking it in, so be alert, especially for Keon Keeley is coming, folks. But for everybody,
I think he's coming, Justin. I think he's coming.
I'm feeling it too. A lot of people got a little bit nervous when he was taking his pictures with LeBron and wearing those all black uniforms. But I have my picture taken with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, you're a kid. I'm a grown man. I'm not passing up a picture with LeBron. And if LeBron tell me to put on any jersey but an Auburn jersey, I'm gonna rock it. I'll put on an Ohio State jersey and take a picture with LeBron. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
I won't put on an Auburn jersey though. I refuse to do that. That's blasphemy. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I'm with you. But yeah, man, help this channel grow, folks. We are trying to get to 1,000. So if you can make it happen, please do it. Please support Coach Smoot's channel and everything he's doing. We need to help him grow. He's all part of the family. Yes. But we got the job done. 49-26 was the final, and you heard our MVPs. Let us know what you think about it. But anyway, Coach Smoot, enjoyed it as always. Roll Tide, and Roll Tide to everyone in the chat.
Roll Tide, brother. Appreciate you, man. Everybody in the chat, Roll Tide, baby.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, baby.